You're listening to episode number 75, Achieving Your Health Goals in 2021, my interview with Emily Kloss. Welcome, my love, to the Boss Bitch Rising podcast. My name is Coach Kale, and I am your host. I'm a master mindset and alignment coach with over 10 years of experience as an entrepreneur. I got my start as a personal trainer in the health and wellness industry, and in getting to work so closely with the human body, this allowed me to see the powerful connection our subconscious mind has not just over our physical body, but also our physical reality. So I started diving deep into the power of the subconscious mind and have since become certified in many modalities, including NLP or Neuro-Linguistic Programming, hypnosis, EFT, Reiki, and energy healing, among others. I now apply these modalities to elevate the collective consciousness of not just my clients, but also my soul tribe. It is my mission in life to create a profound, positive ripple effect, to get you realigned and reconnected with your true, more authentic self. It's time to be the leader of your life, my love. Now let's rise up. I am so excited to welcome today's guest, Emily Kloss. She is a client turned friend turned trusted ally in the space that we are able to really help transform our clients' lives and just create this very positive ripple effect. So, Emily, I will allow you to introduce yourself, and we're going to dive into today's topic.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here talking with all of you beautiful people.
We're so excited to have you. I'm very excited to hop into today's topic. Emily and I have talked about this nutrition subject a lot this year and really helped tailor her business approach to help other people really get the right mindset when it comes to staying on track with fitness, health, wellness, and nutrition goals. So today it's going to be a special treat for us.
So yeah, we're going to talk about staying on track with your holistic nutrition goals for this year. Let me just start by introducing myself. My name is Emily Kloss, and I'm a holistic nutrition coach. My journey to become who I am today started way back when I was pretty young. My mom taught me, I don't know, when I was probably 10 years old, how to hate my body, as a lot of moms do. Live my life on a diet, just trying to make myself different. And with her, we did different shakes, we did fat-free things, we did basically any diet you could think of. And I became kind of an unhappy person in that process. Through college, I really didn't know what I was doing. My parents wanted me to go to college, so I just picked a random degree of human development and family science. Because I found the content to be interesting, but little did I know that later on in my life that would be actually very helpful towards, what it is that I'm doing with my life now. Throughout my 20s, I smoked a ton of cigarettes. I drank way too much. I was in a horrible relationship. And towards the end of my 20s, I left this relationship and started doing CrossFit, which was a humongous turning point in my life. I started to really feel my body, feel what it could feel like to feel good. And that was the first time in my life that I'd felt that way. My focus started to also then turn to nutrition, where I realized that, in order to be a great CrossFitter, part of that is what I'm putting into my body, not just the output of lifting weights and things like that. I became a CrossFit trainer. And then I also went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and finished up that program in 2015. At the time I was in sales and, just kind of plugging away at life and realizing that may not be my path. So I wanted to make coaching others my full-time career. However, my corporate job kept me from really going out on my own. They offered me a position with the company where I could run our wellness program, which was exciting because I was then able to impact the health of about 1,500 people within our company, and that was just great. So I didn't go out on my own, but I was doing a lot of coaching in and out of my corporate life. And then I got promoted a couple times and I stopped coaching. I was no longer in charge of the wellness program. The hours that I was working was just insane. And little by little, all these little pieces of who I'd been working to become, they all went away. But luckily, and as weird as this sounds, COVID happened. And I lost my job. And I was once again given the opportunity to full-time immerse myself in what I love most, which is coaching others and helping them become their most happiest, healthiest, whole selves. So that's where I'm at now. I'm coaching clients one-on-one, and I'm working to actually become a yoga teacher. So I'll be finishing up that program here in the summer, which is really exciting.
Yeah, if it wasn't for COVID, I don't think you and I really would have ever gotten in touch with each other, and here we are now. So I love the blessings that have come from, kind of a curse for a lot of us. It's also been a huge blessing for a lot of us as well. So really stepping into
roll with the
power.
punches. Yeah. So that's about me. So really, what is holistic nutrition? Humans are really complex. There are so many different aspects of our lives that affect who we are, who we become, how we feel, the kind of relationships we have, everything. And all of these things are so interconnected. If you pull the string of one, it becomes shorter on the other side. So we're just so integrated as humans. And if you're not taking care of one part of your life, then you're not taking care of all parts of your life. So holistic nutrition really looks at you as a whole person. And what I do with holistic nutrition coaching is, taking all of that and bringing it together to make sure that people are as happy and whole as possible. So here's the thing. We all have goals, whatever they might be, and life is crazy. It moves really quickly. We have a ton of responsibilities in life, whether it's kids or, work or chores or whatever the case might be. And those different responsibilities that we might have, we've got different requests, things that come out of the blue, whether it be helping somebody out, volunteering for your kids, PTO thing, or whatever that might be. Sometimes you've got goals, you might be clicking along just great in life, thinking that nothing's wrong. You're, hitting all your PRs in the gym, you're losing weight, whatever that might be, and suddenly you have an injury or a pandemic happens and you're suddenly locked at home and you can't go to the gym. You've got friendships and all kinds of things. There's just so many different things that can take you away from your goals. And you may not even notice that it's happening because it's just life, and life just moves at a pace that is sometimes really fast and sometimes really slow. And either way, you can forget yourself, you can forget your goals because there's so much going on. And so it's just really important to stay on track. And there's a few different tips and tricks and things like that that I want to share that can really help you stay on track and not forget about yourself.
Amen. I mean, how often have you, me, all of us really probably watching here, like, it's just like one thing gets in the way. And so you're like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Then something else comes up and you're like, all right, Monday, we're going to start again. And then maybe you'll go one day and accomplish your task for that day, but then something else happens on Tuesday and then Wednesday. And then it just becomes a pattern of skipping.
Yep.
And then 3 months down the road, you're like not even committed anymore. And maybe you even completely forgot about that goal.
Right. Or you've got that goal that's continually nagging you and making you feel like crap. And even worse than if you had been working on it just little tiny bits by little tiny bits. So yeah, so true. So the first thing that is just really, really important with staying on track is really setting realistic goals. And one of the biggest parts of that is understanding your why. So oftentimes people call me or, email me or something like that. And they're just, I want to lose weight. I just need to lose weight. I hate how I look. And that's great. And usually people who call me saying that do need to lose weight. But there's more to it, because just losing weight isn't a why. So usually when somebody calls me and they say, I need to lose 30 pounds, it's like, well, why do you need to lose 30 pounds? Well, I've got 2 kids and I can't keep up with them and I'm tired all the time and I just want to take naps and I'm not being a good mom. Well, that's a good why, and that's something when you want to give up, when you want to stop, but you remember that why of, no, this is my kids. Like, I need to be able to play with them. I need to be awake to make sure that they're not playing in electrical sockets. Whatever the case might be, there's more to it than just, I want to lose 30 pounds. So really understanding that why, sometimes it's even bigger than that. Like, I'm pre-diabetic. And if I don't lose weight, then I might lose all my fingers and toes and die early. Like, that's an even bigger why. So there's always a why. And when you understand what the why is behind your goals, you're so much more likely to stay on track and hit them, because they're so much more important to you than just, I wore this pair of shorts when I was 15 years old and I'd like to put them back on. That's not a good why. So the second part of setting realistic goals is starting really, really tiny and creating a snowball. I live in Cleveland, Ohio, and we get a lot of snow. We got a ton of snow last week. Was it last week? I don't know. All the days run together, but we got a lot of snow. There's still some outside. But my husband and I went outside and we made some snowballs and rolled them up and we made a snowman. And so goals should be like that if you're going to keep them. Nobody says, I'm going to become an athlete tomorrow, and the next day they're out running, marathons. They start really tiny. And sometimes I've got clients where our first goal is, hey, you're going to just put your shoes on. You're not even going to go outside and take a step. We're just going to put our shoes on, see how they feel. Yeah. And then maybe the day after that, it's put your shoes on, walk outside. And the day after that, it's put your shoes on, walk outside, walk down the driveway. So just taking things little step by little step by little step creates that snowball where you might not see the difference today or tomorrow, but over time, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, so forming those habits.
What's that?
Forming those habits.
Right.
Sometimes the hardest thing is literally just getting your freaking shoes on. Mm-hmm. And then once you got them on, you're like, oh, okay, well, take them off, so I might as well go outside now.
Right. And everybody starts from different places, right? So, you might be somebody who's, it's really easy to get your shoes on. It's really easy to get out the door, and it's really easy, but then there's that one part that's just, you can't quite get there. So taking small bites and really, building that snowball so that it keeps getting bigger and bigger and more powerful. So the next really important part to staying on track would be, committing to yourself. We have tons of commitments. I went through a whole list of things that you're probably committed to earlier. And those are things that you show up for and you're committed to. So I would say that setting an appointment with yourself is more important than setting any other appointment with anybody else, always. You wouldn't tell a friend that you're going to meet them for dinner and then just not show up. You'd be a really bad friend. So you need to be the same kind of good friend to yourself. So if you put on your calendar, let's say you have a goal of meal prepping every single week, you want to make sure that you've got your lunches. So every Sunday, you've got an appointment with yourself from noon to 2 p.m. And that's your appointment to create all your meals. And you have to show up for that because you're just as important as everybody else. So you need to treat yourself that way. So setting those appointments make it really easy for you to stay on track with whatever your goal is.
Absolutely. What would you say to somebody who's having really tough time just sticking to their appointments to themselves or for themselves?
I would start with a really small appointment, something that you really enjoy. So, perhaps taking a bath once a week. Like, that's not anything that's really stressful. That's not anything that requires even a ton of effort, but it is keeping a commitment to yourself, doing something that you enjoy. So, building that habit to start where it's something that's just small and enjoyable, and then moving on to the next small appointment and just building on that.
I love that.
Yeah. Another way to commit to yourself is really leaving yourself a lot of visual reminders. So Kayla and I talk about this, but I write on my mirror. I write my why on my mirror. I always know what I'm working towards because I'm looking at it every single day.
My whiteboard.
There you go. Exactly. And there's so many different ways to do that. So, you could write on your mirror, you could put Post-its in different places. You can set reminders in your phone for alarms to go off. There's apps you can use. There's all kinds of things where you can, send yourself little reminders. I've even had a thought of like sending myself mail, like, hey, keep it up, you're doing a good job, stuff like that, where you're really treating yourself well, the way that you would treat a friend. And those reminders are just really a great way to commit to yourself over and over and over again.
I love that.
Yeah. And then, really knowing your why. So continually coming back to that. Why am I doing this? Why is this important? On the days when you just want to throw in the towel and not do a single thing, just really getting in touch with that why, and always keeping that front of mind is going to help keep you on track.
Yeah, I love doing a technique in NLP, like the why is such a great place to start, but then even go deeper, like put yourself in the place of already having it, that visual, mental, emotional, physical space, like really get into your imagination and see yourself already having whatever it is that you're in the process of achieving. And that helps you really get super clear on the why, because now you know what your mental, emotional, and physical state is going to be once you have it. But then you can also go outside of yourself and see how is this goal going to affect not only me, but the environment that I live in, how I show up and interact in the world, how I'm better husband or wife, brother, sister, parent, friend, whatever your roles are in your day-to-day living. Like, how is that going to positively affect those roles as well? And really sinking into that full experience of visualizing that next version of yourself. And that helps you get super crystal clear on the why.
Yeah, the why is just so important. And there's so many ways, like you're talking about, to get there, different ways to visualize, and but it's critical in achieving any goal, is understanding that why.
Yep.
So I've talked about, this is all habits, right? It's all building habits, but you really need to build the habits that do support your goals. So much of any kind of achievement is in the action, and the action is the habit. And so building habits with movement, and again, starting really small. If you're somebody who doesn't do anything with your body, perhaps it's just waking up in the morning and stretching for 10 minutes and just starting to really feel inside your body, and just building that little bit of a habit and then building on that habit. So you did your 10 minutes of stretching for a week and you're starting to feel really good, and you want to take that to the next level. So then you're taking a walk after you do your stretches, and again, creating that snowball and building those habits that support your goals. Building the habit of home cooking, I talk about a lot. When you cook at home, it changes everything. You're not only more likely to eat more healthy because you're going to cook with less salt, you're going to cook with less fat, less sugar, your portions are going to be smaller. But there is something that goes into cooking for you and for the people that you love that you get from nowhere else on earth. And that's, you create an energy, you create love when you cook your food. I cook for my husband almost every single day, and he gets a lot of love when I'm cooking for him, because I plan the meal with him in mind. As I'm cooking, I think about his tastes and his preferences and how he'll feel when he eats it. And I do the same for myself, right? Like, I cook to my preferences, and I cook the things that I want to eat. And you're creating energy when you are making that food. And that's not something that you're going to get when you're eating out or you're picking something up at the gas station or anything like that. In fact, you could be getting the opposite. You might be getting the food made by somebody who hates their job or who just got yelled at or something like that, where when you're cooking it at home, it's got different energy, and that's real. And so building that habit of home cooking can be really transformative.
I just want to say that I absolutely am obsessed that you added this in because, while I was studying for my Reiki Master certification and attunement, that was one thing that they were really emphasizing, that energy, Reiki energy is in everything. And the intention that you put behind anything that you do emanates that energy out. And
Yeah.
something that they say is, even like before you drink water, hold your water and send Reiki energy into it. And that literally helps to restructure the energy, but also the digestive support behind the water that you're putting into your body. Same thing for food, to put the energy into it before you consume it. And I'm just obsessed that you mentioned this, because as you are making food, you can tie in gratitudes and intention and that positive energy and what you want this food to do for your body. And when you take that mindful approach and that very focused approach into something as simple and thoughtless that most of us really do with home cooking, we're just kind of whipping something up quick. Now this makes it that total body, that mind, body, soul experience that we are focusing on, especially moving into this next year. So thank you so much for mentioning that. I am obsessed.
Yeah. But even to your point, like when you are whipping something up super quick or whatever, like even then you're still infusing that energy into it, because it is an act of love and self-care no matter what you're doing. You're cooking for yourself, you're cooking for those you love.
Yeah.
So.
And it's just like, how often do we pray? If you are, a spiritual person, praying before a meal, of course we might do that around the holidays, at Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner, but are you doing that on your own? And just taking that small moment of gratitude. A simple prayer that I say it, that I would love to share, is thank you for the food. Thank you for the hands that prepared it, because sometimes, every time, I didn't pick the carrots, I didn't plant the seeds for the lemons, I didn't do any of that. So there's so many hands that are in the works of preparing this meal that I get to consume. Although I might have cooked it, cleaned it, and cleaned up after the meal, it's more than just me that's involved in me being able to consume that. So thank you for the food. Thank you for the hands that prepared it. Let it nourish my body and give me a delightful spirit. And it's just something that's it. 4 sentences, 4 lines. And it really touches all the points that, energetically, spiritually, that we would like to feel before consuming a meal. And just taking that little moment of gratitude and appreciation is huge.
Yeah. I love that you said that too, because along with home cooking, and like you said, you didn't plant the carrot and you didn't plant the lemon or anything like that. But, that's even taking it a step further, where, purchasing food from farmers markets, or from a humane farm, where, if you do eat animal proteins, that these cows have been grazing in grass and living a life of, happiness and blue skies, and not in, a factory farm where that the energy of the animals and the lives that they lived also nourish your body differently. So yeah, food can go on forever. It's huge. And definitely, building a habit where you are cooking, you are eating sustainably, it changes your body and how you feel and how you digest and the life that you live, period.
Yeah, you became quite the gardener. I don't know if you were before this year, but I know that you really were all in your garden all summer. And that's, a huge piece of the puzzle as well, is sharing in the process. It's like, I hate to say raising kids, but in a sense it is like you're nourishing this plant, this crop to grow. And it's like you're raising all of these little sprouts, and it's exciting to get to watch them grow, and then to know that eventually they're going to be able to nourish your body and do something really positive for your overall health. It really makes it like that perfect trifecta of intention, action, and ties it in with that spirituality as well.
Yeah. This year we had a great garden. And it's great. And eating that food is definitely a different feeling and a different taste than anything else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. for all the reasons that we've been talking about, being grateful for the food that you're eating, being grateful for the movement that your body can have, being grateful for the air in your lungs, being grateful for your eyes opening every day and there being sun in the sky. And, sometimes things are hard. Like we've experienced an incredibly difficult year, and having a habit of gratitude already built, you can really lean on that. It's hard to build gratitude when you're feeling like garbage, but when you've already built that practice and you feel like garbage, then really practicing gratitude and really leaning into that can help you to pull out of it and can help you stay on track with whatever goal you have, because you've put the work in ahead of time, that you're not feeling like, oh, I feel terrible, so I'm gonna just be grateful for something. You'll feel more genuine in it, and it'll take you further when you already have that habit built.
Absolutely.
And I have also on here just working with a coach. Building habits and being accountable for those habits can be very difficult, but that's what coaches specialize in. So working with a coach to help you build those habits and hold you accountable, and they can also sometimes see results where you don't, and bring those to your attention so that you know that you are making progress, even when sometimes it might not feel like you are.
Yeah, or help tweak if something's not quite working out. Sometimes we feel so mentally stuck in the fact that, oh, this one thing's just not working, and having a coach be able to kind of float above and see what's going on to point that specific thing, and then help course correct with you to give you the support of, okay, that wasn't working, now let's do this together, and giving you that encouragement along the way is huge as well.
Executing with purpose. So you can have all the best intentions in the world, but if you're not purposefully going towards those goals, then it may be difficult to really reach them. You have to become choosy with your time. So perhaps you spend time on something that doesn't serve you. I personally am sometimes stuck playing Scrabble on my phone for no good reason. And so, really taking things that aren't bringing you closer to your goals, and removing them from your schedule. Time is a non-renewable resource. Once it's gone, it's gone. And so really filling your time with the things that are bringing you closer to your goals are important. Now, playing Scrabble on your phone sometimes is exactly what you need. So I'm not saying that you should remove everything, but if you're finding that you've scheduled time to do your meal prep and instead you're playing Scrabble on your phone, then perhaps that's something that you need to be looking at.
Yeah, something that I found to be very effective for myself this year specifically is being that I am an entrepreneur and I work for myself, and other than having, appointments with clients, I can kind of do whatever I want all day long. And I have ADD. So if I'm not focused with intention, I am off doing some crazy stuff that has no point in my life whatsoever. So for me, tracking my time and setting a goal of, I want to work out 8 to 10 hours a week. I want to spend X amount of time with clients. I want to spend a minimum of 5 hours of meditation a week. I want to spend this amount of time working on the back end of my business. So I have goals for these subparts, and then I have this end goal of I'd like to get between 35 and 50 hours of working time, but that includes working out, that includes meditation, that includes those self-care things. But at the end of the day, every day, I have that mindful intention of tracking how much time did I spend working out with clients, working on the back end of my business, and in meditation. And some weeks, especially, during the holidays, I was nowhere near close to my goals, but it's okay. Like, I'm gentle with myself in that process, but I have to have that structured system to keep me accountable, because otherwise I would be wasting a bunch of time not doing anything. So find what works for you. And for me, that is what works.
Yeah. There's tons of different ways to do it. Definitely. Yeah, I like to keep an actual calendar of like, I don't even know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Everything's like, blocked off, and then I kind of cross it off as I go through it, and I know that if I've crossed it all off, then I've done what I said with my time.
And how rewarding is that too? Like, I also keep a calendar, and it's like being able to like go through the day, and it's just like you've accomplished one thing and then you've accomplished the next, and you can see it all there. You can plan in things, and you're just like checking things off. For whatever reason, feels so good. It's just like, yeah.
It's so rewarding. Definitely. Also super important is removing obstacles. And obstacles can look so different in so many different ways. It can be as simple as you have a goal of losing weight. Perhaps you just don't bring, you love chocolate chips. You could eat chocolate chips all day long. Just stop buying them. Don't bring them into your house. Remove that obstacle. If you're somebody who, you want to, again, lose weight or something like that, and you have a habit of stopping for a cheeseburger or something like that, like maybe take a different route. If you know that you passed your favorite cheeseburger joint, don't go that way on your way to work or on your way home. Take a different direction. An obstacle can be huge, such as like I had a relationship in my 20s that kept me from every single one of my health goals. I was so unhappy in this relationship that I drank too much, I smoked too much, I was depressed, I didn't work out. As soon as I removed that relationship from my life, everything else changed. So obstacles can look different in a lot of different ways, but thinking that through and taking them out of your life or changing your life in some way that makes them so that they're not around, that can be really transformative.
I would definitely like to interject that having the right support system when you are moving through and removing obstacles out of your life is huge, especially if it's something that we feel fulfilled by or just really drawn to, but we know that's not really serving us in the highest and best way. Sometimes removing that, especially if it's like a relationship, right? It's huge. And if you don't feel like you have the right support system that you can fall back into, that makes it holding on to something that's unhealthy for you even harder to let go of. So again, that would be a perfect time if you know that there are obstacles in your life and you know that those are hard to remove or move through, then that is when you should be seeking the help of trusted family or friends that you know are there in love and support, not in judgment or any other, negative thoughts or feelings towards you and that situation. They're just there to love and support you. And if you don't have that, then definitely seeking outside of your circle, finding a coach or a mentor that you can work with is definitely a huge recommendation as well.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And then the final thing I'll say here is that inaction is an action. Just like no is a complete sentence. If you find that you've set some kind of goal for yourself and you just straight up refuse to even get started, then there's something wrong. There's a disconnect. Perhaps you haven't gotten clear on your why. Perhaps something's changed. Perhaps there's a million different things, but if you're not working towards your goal, like aggressively not working towards your goal, then it's time to just kind of sit back, deconstruct it, and figure out exactly why. And again, to your point, using someone trusted, a friend, a family member, a coach, something like that can help you to figure out why it is that you're refusing to work towards a goal that you're setting for yourself and that you think you want.
Absolutely.
And that brings me to that reflection. Reflection's so important in this whole process. Life changes and it changes quickly. And sometimes something that you've been working towards and that you think you want with all of your heart is no longer what you want. I actually have a client that I started working with, and she's lost over 100 pounds before we even started started working together, and her goal was to weigh 150 pounds. And that was just her goal. She had it in her head, and she was on like the last 20. And she and I are working together, and she was one of these people, the inaction was the action. And I'm, talking to her about it, and we started to deconstruct it. And, she's saying, well, I don't know. I mean, I feel great. I've got all the energy. I can wear all my clothes. I look in the mirror. I like how I look naked. I've got this and that. What she didn't realize was that she had already reached her goal. It was in her head that she wanted to be a certain weight. But when she and I really dug into it, she realized that it's not the weight. It was just the number she had in her head for whatever reason, but she was already there. She had already hit the goal. So now we're working on different things, building strength and that kind of stuff, but her goals have changed. And without talking that through with me, she might have just still been beating her head against a wall, working towards something that she didn't actually want. So, working with your coach can help you to kind of pull that apart and figure that out. Spending time journaling is a great way to do that, and also meditating, getting yourself just into a really quiet space where you can really touch base with yourself and really understand what your needs are. And they do change. So being flexible and being kind with yourself on that.
Absolutely. I love that you mentioned that. I feel definitely in my years of a health and wellness coach, that was the number one challenge that I had with a lot of clients. Was so many people see this one number that they expect themselves to be. And I'm a heavy girl. When I tell people how much I weigh, they never believe me. And I'm like, sure, I would love to weigh 150 pounds. But the reality is my normal sitting weight, because of just how much muscle I have, is usually between 170 and 185. Like, I'm a heavy girl.
Yeah.
And it's like setting the realistic goal. Like, have you ever been there before? Have you ever been that weight? If yes, when? Because if it was back when you were a freshman in high school, how realistic is it if you're approaching 40 to be a weight that you were 25 years ago?
Right.
And then being, like you said, gentle and patient with yourself. Like, we are constantly evolving. Our life is never completely the same, not even from moment to moment. We're constantly changing. We're constantly getting older. Our health is constantly, changing a little bit here and there. Hopefully nothing too crazy. And just the circumstances that we're living in, hopefully, are shifting a little bit here and there. So honoring where you are in the now moment, instead of expecting yourself to be back here in the past or expecting to have something that you've never even had before. It's like, let's get clear. Let's get back to the why.
Yeah.
And understand, what can we do in this moment now that's going to help you reach the goal? Or like you said, maybe your client has already reached that goal.
Right.
Now more mental than anything else.
Right. And I think women in particular struggle with this because so often society kind of gives us our goals, and we're not really reaching inside to understand what that means for us, and what we really, really want, because we're so driven by what we think we should be, that it can get lost pretty easily. So doing all these reflections and really touching, getting in touch with you through really quiet moments is what can help you to have some giant breakthroughs.
Amen.
Yeah. So just a little quote that I love is just that, small, consistent daily actions can lead to profound overall results. It's the tiny things, but it's doing it day in and day out and never giving up, that really brings you to where you want to be. The pot of water doesn't boil until it boils, but it's all that time of the heat being on it, creating that final temperature where the water's finally boiling. It's those tiny little incremental things that get you there. So when you're staying on track and you're struggling a little bit, just keep that in mind, that you might not see it today, but it's happening and it will happen. It's just getting there.
Yeah. Something that I love more specifically with health and wellness goals is to take a photo of yourself. And that was something that I learned early on is stop focusing so hard on the scale, but to take a photo of yourself, because sometimes you don't even notice the changes that are happening. You feel like your pants fit different, or, maybe your arms look a little better in that top, but you're just like, you're not really seeing it until you see a day 1 photo next to a day 100 photo, and you see how much progress you've made in that time. You see yourself every day. So you don't see it every day, but the before versus the now is always such a good way to compare all of the progress that you've made.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that too. There's nothing I love more than seeing client photos before and afters. It's so rewarding.
Exactly. So where can we find you?
So I'm on Instagram, Emily Kloss Wellness. Come and follow me. I share a lot of recipes. I talk about movement, gratitude, all the things that I've been talking about today. It's who I am. It's what I do. It's my favorite parts of life. So follow me there. And then I have a visioning and goal setting workshop I'll be doing in February. So eatplaybewell.com/nourishing the future. You can jump on there and sign up for my workshop. It'll be all month.
How many sessions is your workshop?
There's 5 coaching sessions, so it'll be 5 group coaching sessions. I don't want more than 10 people, so it's group coaching, but still fairly intimate. And then there's 4 weeks of independent work that go along with that.
Amazing. That's exciting. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Thank you so much for coming in, sharing your heart, your knowledge, your experience with us today. I'm so excited for everyone's experience in 2021, really sinking into their goals, into their why, and taking charge of the outcomes that they elicit this year ahead. But if you guys definitely want to reach out and stay connected with Emily, make sure you are following her, Emily Kloss, Kloss Wellness. It's on Instagram. And then her website is eatplaybewell.com. Definitely stay connected with her because she is a true inspiration of how to live more holistic, well, and happy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode. I hope you found extreme value in today's content. Of course, if you love today's episode, take a screenshot, share it on social media, and tag me in it, because not only do I love to feel all the love, but I also love to hear your feedback. Of course, if you want to get connected with me further, you can find me on my website at kaleroberts.com or on social media. I'm at The Kale Collective. Until next week, boss bitches, rise up.